Some of you know me directly, some of you don't. I am Dritan. I am the trainer, specialist for CribMaster. Today, together with Monica, my colleague, will be recording this session, and it will be distributed to all of you later. It will be available. We expect more people to join, around 30 people to join today, and the idea is that after a while, I'm waiting for everybody to join, and I'm gonna mute all of you for some time, just to go for a quick presentation on the ATR. Later, we'll have a round of questions for those of you who are not familiar with that interface. And later, I will jump directly to the ATR screen, to the interface, where we're gonna conduct few interactions from the ATR directly. So let me mute now all of you, and I hope that everybody can hear me. If somebody cannot hear me, or if you have any questions in the meantime, please use the webinar chat box, where you can raise a hand, you can write a question, you can address any technical issue that is going in the meantime. And we're going to use this space to communicate meanwhile I'm presenting. And later, as I said, we'll have a quick round of questions to see if everything is clear for you in the presentation. So without losing big time, let me go directly and share my screen with you. Here we go. And we have the screen right here. And just a second. Yeah. I hope everybody can see my screen. So today, following as done so far, we had a sessions about the CribMaster client, which is available in our website. We had a session about CribMaster CM Web, again available in our website. Today, we thought to come and present you CribMaster ATR, which is the interface that everybody sees in front of the machines. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that interface already, but I hope that at the end of this session, it will be a bit clearer for all of you who aren't or never had used the ATR interface so far. So let me go quickly to the agenda of today. The agenda for the training is the ATR basic functions, connected mode, disconnected mode, the CM block, authentication, how to log in, interactive and passive operations, ATR options, etc. At the end, we're going to have I will walk you through to the newest features of our ATR that come along with CribMaster 11, such as the keyword filtering, the ATR tool bag options, the shopping cart options, etc. So let us start our journey. What the CribMaster ATR? What is indeed the ATR? It stands for Automated Tool Room. In a short abbreviation of it, it is ATR. It is the interactive software that runs from a touchscreen computer interface located on a CribMaster cabinet or at a manned or unmanned crib. So it's a primary customer interface with CribMaster. It is a touchscreen interface. It is the same, it holds the same software on every machine, but is customizable for each machine and for each user. It should be continuously connected to the CribMaster database, and at the end, it records, tracks, and reports transactions to the database. In addition, it comes with a multi-language option for covering 14 up to 15 languages, mainly used in Europe. So who uses it and why it uses it? The main user of the ATR is the production worker. This is the 99% of the public, of the audience, of the users of this interface. What they do basic things, issue and return materials, select cost centers, etc. In addition to the production worker, that is the main user, as I said, we have the replenishment. So all those people, all those folk who are responsible to receive inventory, to receive purchase orders, to conduct routine cycle counts, to adjust inventory, complete transfers, etc. So all of this category of users who deal with refilling, replenishment, the machine, the bins. And the third category of that, among three, that it will be the production supervisor. The production supervisor might need to do a different list of tasks, such as adding, managing data in terms of crib information, in terms of bins, in terms of employees, items and suppliers, cost centers, etc. So these people have the tool, the required tools to directly manage data from our interface, from ATR. So what I just explained here is an overview of the end users. As I said, basically issue items, return items. Distributors can do issue and items for sure, but in addition, they need to refill, to do partial receivements, to adjust inventory, and complete transfers. Administrators, as I said, always managing data and keeping the flow running. So how the ATR works. The ATR works is a direct connection of the ATR to the CribMaster client, to the CribMaster database, which are on the same network. And that the customer might have subsidiaries with the same location or building, different machines here and there, but continuously these machines, the ATR needs the internet connection to feed, to upload and download direct data in real time from the database. When I mentioned earlier today about the automated in a connected mode and disconnected mode. In a connected mode, we have the machine running, the system is offering us 100% capacity. So we can undergo a long list of transactions, such as adjust bins, complete transfers, count, dynamic filtering. We can use item limits, we can receive, we can set up mode. So in a connected mode is the way that we want the machine to work, where it allows us to do anything we want. What happens if the ATR is not connected, it is a disconnected mode? Certainly few tasks or few possibilities will be reduced. Therefore, we might only basically issue and return items, but we cannot adjust quantities, we cannot receive, we cannot do transfers, etc. All those transactions that are linked with the need a direct connection to the database. So in disconnected mode, we have a machine running fully with a very limited capacity of transactions in the meantime. How a user can detect from the interface if the machine is connected or disconnected mode, and that's very basic, very simple, by just paying attention to the logo on the bottom right of the screen, as you can see in the picture, which tells us, indicates us that this machine at this moment is connected or disconnected. So this is very important for distributors, especially for product supervisors, production supervisors, who might need to continuously check the connection or disconnection of the machine. Let us go to the ATR login and authentication. How people might log in. There are different methods that we are currently using, and for more we are exploring on more others to come. But for the time being, what is possible is a user can select from a list, a user can scan a badge, a box reader badge, or a user can input a text in order to log into the machine, to this interface. As you see, in addition, we have the barcode reader as well, two different types of readers. It is the Prox badge reader and the Mag Stripe cards, depending how your end customer what is the preference of your end customers. So at the moment, these are the ways on how we manage how to log in, how enable employees, operators to log in to the ATR. Many of you, I'm sure that those who have been working with ATR for some time now have seen the CM block. And what is this CM block? It's an application designed to keep the ATR running if it ever goes down. So if ATR stops working, the CM block will obstruct the screen to prevent users from accessing to the desktop. In addition, the CM block will also attempt to restart the ATR. But sometimes we might need to get rid of it. We might need to deactivate the CM block. In this case, what we need, it's a very quick intervention that we can do. Certainly distributors, people who got the keys, those golden keys that you can see there in the picture, in order to unlock the case, the PC case, the ATR case, we need to use the keyboard, which is inside the ATR case. We can plug it in one of those 4 ports. If any of those ports is not available, so if 4 of them are taken, busy already, what we can do is just unplug the Prox reader and plug our keyboard there. We can tap the screen and we ensure that the CM block is on the focus. And by using the exit, we can use the exit and then followed by X and Enter keys from the keyboard. This X Enter will deactivate the ATR and allow us to go to our desktop and do other tasks. So that's important. It's a quick operation, let's say, maneuver. But if you don't do that fast enough, let's say, it will launch ATR again and will need to repeat the process to close the ATR program again. So the CM block will keep ATR running and allow us a time of few seconds to intervene and in order to deactivate it. We mentioned interactive and passive modes. What does this mean? So there is a series of interactive operations we can do and a series of passive operations we can do from ATR. This is strictly linked to the nature and the type of our machines, of CribMaster cabinets. As many of you might know, our cabinets are sort of divided into active, interactive cabinets, machines, and passive ones. And what does this specifically mean is the following, that the ATR here, for those interactive machines, requires constant input from the user, such as who needs these items, what items are being taken or returned, from what bin are they being taken or returned, how many are being taken or returned, who's paying for these items, if the cost centers are used. It's high security and high accountability. So all of these are our interactive machines, the ProStock and the Toolbox and the ProLock and the Flip Top. All of this machine that the item that the user is interacting with the ATR, opening, delivering a specific item which stays in a specific bin, in a specific locker, etc. So this is the interactive operations of the ATR compared to the passive operations, where the technology is different and the logic is different, and the transactions are determined by scanning the bins after the user logs out. So once the user logs in, the machines will open all the doors or all the drawers and allow the user to decide what she want to do in terms of bringing back items or issuing items or doing any other transfer from the ATR and other transactions. Changes are tracked by the RFID signals or weight change. We have low security compared to the other interactive options. However, here we talk about high accountability to the employees. I hope that it was clear. We move quickly to the ATR options. So ATR itself, it's the hardware, the component, it's a TechVision device, which comes with this specifications, as you can see on the screen. It has the Ethernet port, 4 COM ports to connect to the main machine and 3 other auxiliaries. It has 4 USB ports and a power supply. So that's standard for all the machines. Wherever you're going to see that in main machines, certainly, and they don't, this elements don't change, so they are all the same in all machines. However, we need to configure it, and the ATR configuration is a quick process that initially starts with adding the crib. So this ATR, this machine will be named what? What is the type first of it, and what is its number? Knowing that in CribMaster database, every single cabinet, every single machine has a unique number. After this quick process, we register it, we save it, and then the second step is to link that ATR to the data source, to the server. So to each server, to each database, it will direct itself, where we'll get the information, and that is the icon that you see on the right, the data source, which will pop up that window where we quickly need to establish the database provider type, the web service URL, and later save it. So these two are the mandatory steps to be undertaken in terms of setting, configuring the ATR. Once this is done, then there is a series of default options that are in the middle of the screen, as you can see, and these options will change the behavior of ATR. So these default options are standard always. We can sort of change them from true to false, which means allowing or blocking any certain behavior we want. And we can configure that as we want. However, we would recommend to have a standard type of options that are standardly running in all your machines all around your customers. To access that, we can quickly go to the admin options, default options, and which are global, as I said, are not machine specific. Once I have added my type of crib, as you saw that before in the list, in this scenario, in this example here, I'm talking about a prologue. It will pop up a window next to default options, a tab, which is the crib options. And these crib options are specific to which will change the behavior of the machine and are specific to that crib. So for a prologue, there are a few options. For another machine, there might be a longer list with different specifications that we need to establish, we need to introduce while registering, while configuring the ATR. And once this is done, our machine is ready to be live and start serving to the purpose. Different modes of ATR is the basic ones, certainly, is the issue and return modes, mainly and generally conducted by a production worker, by just issuing and returning, if needed, selecting the cost center on the issue screen. The production worker is the one who will mainly do the issue and returning of inventory. Then for distributors, remember what we saw just before, we have the stock, receive and adjust modes, 3 different possibilities that we can somehow replenish the machines, maintain the stock levels, and check if the bins have the right quantity needed to have in their disposition. So these are 3 main modes used by the distributors, those who need to replenish the machine. So it's about the replenishment process. Where we find all of these, certainly as the admin user, an admin user will have that screen by clicking on the admin icon, and then we'll see the adjust mode, receive, and stock mode. These 3 are important for the replenishment process. Remember, we talked about the 3rd category of users, which were the supervisor. The supervisor might need to go to the setup mode, as we said, where they can set up employees data, we can set up crib data, bins data, item, transactions, transfers, diagnostics, and different type of data that are allowed to be directly done from the ATR. So here are, as an admin, as always, we log in, setup mode, options, diagnostics are some of the capabilities that a production supervisor might need to undergo on the ATR. We're going to see all of those in practice just a little bit later, where we'll log in as an admin and we will run a few of these activities, a few of setup, a few of options to illustrate exactly what this PowerPoint is presenting you. We mentioned quickly about the ATR new functions. What are these? They come along with CribMaster 11, with the most recent version that we launched, which have somehow ameliorated, have improved, enhanced the user experience. And the user experience is the worker, the production worker, right? So we wanted to make it quicker, we wanted to make it better, we wanted to save more time and make a nice and a smooth experience using the ATR. And what are these indeed? So we talk here about the shopping cart, which is to build a shop list, and then the CribMaster will vend it. We talk about the tool bag, which is productive issue, and we talk about keyword filtering, which is similar to the search option that we had so far, but more targeted, better organized in advance by the administrators, and therefore it allows a quicker and a better experience on the ATR. So these are three of the, let's say, innovation that comes along with CribMaster 11. ATR shopping cart, build a shopping list, and the CribMaster will vend all the items at once. That reduce time, add the machine, and get back to work. So the idea of that is it's very similar to shopping on an online portal. I don't know, maybe Amazon, if some of you use it, where you can sort of add to the basket and then all check it out at once. To make this happen, definitely we need to do some preparation. We need first of all to allow this happen on the ATR and the default options, if you remember. From there, we can enable that by turning it true, and then it will see on the screen we're going to have two buttons, two icons, which is checkout and add to the bin, sort of where we're going to add all these items to the chart. Excuse me. Yes, that was the right word. I was looking add to the chart. Users later can always adjust quantities, remove items out, add new ones, so they can take as time as they need to do the shopping from the ATR before they issue all of this, before they check out. ATR tool bag, that is the predictive issue, excuse me, similar to the current favorites. So there is already a favorite button icon that allows to keep the memory of the usage of the main 10 most used items from the employee. However, this is more organized, sort of we have a tool bag that can be used based on the usage, on a project, on a time of day. If the morning is different and in the afternoon you might have a different tool bag, then vends all the materials with one transaction. So the purpose of that is to create a tool bag and will save time to the user, because we know that this tool bag, he or she, the operator, issues that every morning or every afternoon, or for that specific project, or for that specific time of the day. Again, the same story. We need to allow this to enable that on the ATR. We're going to make this change that from false to true, and then it will be visible on the screen. The tool bag icon will show on the right. As you see that the tool bag is right there. So the machine will show if we have in a tool bag. Imagine if we have a sort of a list of different items, and if any of them is missing, so there is no sufficient quantity inside the machine, that will be invisible. That will show in grayed out, because it is not a complete tool bag. This is just a tool bag with missing items, so it is not serving the purpose. Therefore, it will not be visible unless all the items required match the quantity. If it's one, if it's two, it depends on how many you have created established in that toolbag. Users will be able to create, to edit, to delete these toolbags if you would like to, allow that capacity. The toolbag screen, also the system, what it does, it will save the memory based on a algorithm here, and will suggest a toolbag for users, saying that I've seen that you have been issuing pretty much the same items for the last few days, for the last few weeks. Therefore, CribMaster itself will suggest to the user, would you like me to consider that as a toolbag ready for you? So next time, you don't have to select all these items separately. All of them will be together in one toolbag. If you don't want this algorithm occurring in the background, you can disable that from the ATR just by choosing the option shown in the picture. The last one is the ATR keyword filtering. The keyword filtering is a list of keywords I can prepare in advance, the administrator can prepare in advance, associate them, assign them to different items in the bin. And this will be visible on the list view. When you log into your screen, you can see all of this. By selecting one of them, it will show exactly the group of items that are assigned to that keyword filter. So if someone, I have prepared a few examples here. It's absolutely up to the administrator. Would you like to group them under the PPE, for instance, or I have named it once COVID because it's the actuality. So whatever, if I click on COVID, it will show me exactly all those items needed that belong to this or have in common that keyword as COVID. The same thing as here. We need to enable that on the ATR first of all by turning to true, and then it will show all these items that are available into that grid, as you see that in the picture. The last one, this is not actually related to the ATR, but it's about the ATR dashboards, and this is specifically meant for the system administrators who have been using the CM Web, because in CM Web we really have some very nice graphs which illustrate us are all the ATRs connected, what is the activity going on my ATRs, how many people have been logging in and logging out, and when is the time, knowing that an ATR is continuously upgrading or communicating with the server every 60 minutes. So that's an important information, and therefore as an admin I can easily monitor, control, and have all the required data analytics to see all my ATRs are running well, there are no issues, they are spinning, they are delivering, they are fully 100% operational all over my customers. So we might have a quick look for those who are interested or want to. However, on the CribMaster CM Web webinar, you have more details about the using the dashboards related to not only to ATR but all the dashboards available in our software. So that was my quick first presentation about a bit of theory for those who are not familiar with that. I will unmute you all now and see if there are questions, etc. And after that a quick round of questions and answers, we'll jump directly to the ATR presentation. So I will go to that. Okay, I can see already a question, which is from William. In disconnected mode, does the unit still track and store transactions for later upload? Yes, thank you, William. In disconnected mode, yes, the ATR will do its main task, which is to track and store the transactions. Absolutely, it will track everything happening in the meantime. Let's say for a few hours or a day or two, there was no internet connection. So everything happening in the meantime is recorded. As soon as the ATR establish the connection with the database, it will absolutely upload everything happening in the meantime. So admins can have those reports and can have the full traceability, visibility of what happened in the meantime. Yes, definitely the ATR will store and upload those transactions happened. I can see another questions. How to update the vending machines to CribMaster 11? Thank you for the questions. Just please make sure that initially we need to make sure that the software, the database is in version 11. So we need to upgrade the database version first of all, and then we will go to update your CM client, update your machines, etc. So machines should match fully, be in full compliance with the version of your database. Let's say, for instance, if you are using CribMaster 10.15, we cannot go to use ATR 11. Therefore, it starts with upgrading your version of the database, and later centrally we'll go to upgrade your ATRs. There's another question from Jeff. We have Cardex Titan. Is this compatible? Cardex Titan. Maybe I'll just mute all of you. And Jeff, can you explain more? What is this Cardex Titan? Is something unfamiliar for me. Can you input longevity for items such as Loctite? Philip, yes, definitely. We can track our Loctites or other chemicals. We can go with that with the lot numbers. So in CribMaster, it is possible to use lot numbers. We can assign those replenishments or batches, if you want, to lot numbers, and we can track this in. We can see all these reports coming up and see the lot numbers for all of kind of Loctites or other chemicals. Definitely, we can track those in CribMaster. That was your question, Philip. Thank you for that. Any other questions? Okay. Yeah. Okay. I believe I addressed 4 of them. In the meantime, you please just write if you have more questions to go. I will quickly now close my my PowerPoint and invite you to log to our ATR. Yeah, here we go. Share the screen. Do you all see my screen at the moment? Here we go. There is another question before I start with the ATR. I will take it quickly. Do you have a list of manufacturer part numbers with a suggested machine to use, and if a coil machine with a recommended coil size? A list of manufacturer part numbers with a suggested machine to use, and if a coil recommended coil size. So we have best practices, we have the experience, and we can Acosta, we can definitely help you in terms of defining the best items that will fit in a coil size. So it's our expertise there. No worries about that. We don't have a fixed list, because with the coil sizes, it depends on the when you do the testing. It depends on the how the drop, the quantity you would like to put in. But definitely we can provide you the best practices. We can provide you suggestions and tips on how to test items in a coil machine. If this is your question, definitely we're glad to help you in that.
Hey, Dritan, it's Scott.
Yes.
Hey, let me just jump in quickly and just add to that as well for that person who's asked the question. Okay. Because this is a product we've not yet released, but we're currently working on. But this relates to something which we're going to call the solution generator, which is a product profile configuration tool. So it will be filled with product configuration, best practice, sizes and recommendations, and it will help to sort of build out a configuration of a machine. So the intention is for it to include manufacturer specific details and sizes and dimensions and weight and so forth, to help end users and distributors know exactly what will fit in the machine and how many slots and coils are required. So that is something that we're actively working on.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes. Well, I think the answer now is better than mine. So hopefully with this solution generator will come. It will be a useful tool for all of you out there to quickly test and have an idea before proposing your proposition to your customers about which machine, for which item, for which purpose, etc., or which combination of machines even could be that, if this is the case. Okay, I see no more questions at the moment. We can continue with the ATR. I hope all of you can look at the screen. We have the ATR screen I'm sharing at the moment. As you see, this is the basic ATR interface at every machine. Some of you are familiar, I believe. So I have a list of users here. I can quickly select one of the goalkeepers in my list here, and by a simple 1234 password, it will take me to the issue screen. So this is the issue mode we talked about. In the issue mode, we have two different type of modes. One of them is the card view and the grid view. The card view, you can see all those small pictures, photos, images. And then we have the item number, we have the item description and the quantity for each view. Some of them are grayed out because there is no quantity inside, and some of them are black, indicating exactly what is the quantity inside each of them. So that is the issue mode. If I go quickly to the return mode, here it will show me the list of the durables. Definitely we talk about durables. So remember, expendables cannot go back to the crib. They are only one time issued. And from here, I can select any of these two durables that I would like to return to put it in. So I have, if you see that on the right, return directly to the crib or to the scrap, which means that this tool is now garbage. It's scrapped. It won't get any time back to its crib. So let us go to the issue mode. Let us do a quick, let's say, a quick issue. I'm going to choose that item here. And if I click on issue, it says there are 8 inside. How many of these would you like to take out? And then I'm going to collect 2 of those. Here it is. It is supposed that the item, the machine, the locker is opening and allowing me to take out 2 of these items. As you see, the quantity dropped to 6. Let's perform a quick return transaction. As you see, I have these 2 items here. I'm going to return that. Done. So I return the item that I have issued before. So two basic screens, the issue mode and the return mode. What I can do, if as an admin, I can always go to the admin mode and see what I just presented before. So let us go one by one and quickly have a look in each of those. Adjust mode. Remember, it was meant for replenishment people. When we might need to use the adjust mode is that if the system thinks that I have 4 safety glasses inside, but indeed I have 5 of them or 3 of them, or the number, it's a discrepancy between what the physical quantity is and what the system is telling me. So I need to adjust that quantity. I need to align what the database is telling me and what the physical quantity is indeed inside that. So yeah, I'm going to, let's say, I'm going to this one. I'm going to adjust that and make it, instead of 5, I'm going to put 10 of those inside. And open the locker. In this case, if it's a cross stock, you don't need to open it, give the command open, because itself the stock will turn and open that specific bin what you would like to put in. But in this case, we talk about a prologue, so I need to open that and physically put inside 5 of those. So now the quantity, as you can see, went up to 10 items. Another admin for replenishment, admin mode, we have the receive. So if I go to the receive mode, I'm going to see all the open and pending POs, purchase orders, available on my screen for this machine. So I'm going to, let's say, replenish with another, let's say, this grinders. So enter quantity to receive, issue quantity 1. So in order, I have 10 of them. At the moment, I have received 0. So I'm going to select this item. Once I select that item, either double click on the screen, or by clicking select item, I can see that the receive button is active. And then from here, I can, it reminds me to put each item in one bin, and then I can go to complete my replenishment. If it's about a partial replenishment, what happens in this case if I do not have the entire quantity of this? So I'm talking about here Stilo pencil, and I need to adjust it initially, saying that I don't have 40, but I have only 20 of those, and I would like to enter. There is this pop-up message: the quantity of 20 is less than the purchase order quantity of 40 for item -02. Do you want to mark the item complete or incomplete? Which means that if I'm coming back later to replenish with what's been left 20 more, or if I'm not coming at all, and this is, I have only 20 with me now, and I'm gonna replenish on the 20. So let's say I'm gonna consider it yes as a complete. I'm not coming later, therefore I can click on the receive button, or its partial issue quantity. Okay, left will be 10 overs, and then here it goes. I did the replenishment. Another way to replenish was the stock. Stocking is no need for purchase orders. There won't be any purchase order. If the distributor is like an ad hoc stocking, you can go anytime to your machines and replenish all those empty bins that they have a need at the moment with whatever you have in your hand. Pretty much this is the idea. So it's an easy way to replenish. Let's say I'm gonna replenish with some gloves here, stock, how many gloves I'm gonna put inside. Let's say I'm gonna put 20 gloves inside, enter. And I did some stocking. So these are all transactions that allow a distributor to replenish the quantity inside, either through a PO, a purchase order, or a stocking mode. We talked about the options as well. So let us go now, before going to the third category, which is the supervisor. The supervisor, I'll go back to the issue mode and see all those gloves, all those receipts that I did just before. Here you see that was grayed out, and now I have 10 of them, and I have the grinder 10 of them. Again, under the admin mode, I can go to the options, and that was the place where we configure the machine. So this is on the left side of the screen. You see the range of our machines available. On the right side, this is my prologue, which I called it number 5. So that is important. Remember, we saw the data source. That's important as well. So what is the web service URL that this machine is linked to, is connected to, and it's feeding itself from? I close that. Then we talked about the default options. We have a long list of those that each of them might have 2 different true and false, 2 options. If true and if it's false, what happens? So all of these will change the behavior of the ATR as we saw in the presentation. It's a long list of those. We have that in written way. So for all of you who are not familiar with these, We can provide these documents, and you can go through to see what happens if I do some changes here, if I change from true to false, or vice versa. And then we talked about the specific crib options. So here are my four options related to my crib prologue. Such as the COM port, baud rate, smart lockers, etc. Now, we talked about as well this morning about the setup mode that might be interesting for supervisors. If a supervisor need to quickly, immediately edit, modify data about bins, they can add a new bin, they can edit a bin, they can delete a bin, they can adjust quantities if they want. If that if a supervisor needs to edit data on about employees, you can see it's all allowed. We have enabled that. Items and suppliers, the same story, and transactions. So let us go quickly to edit some data on an employee, for instance. I want to add something on Iker Casillas. So that is my person. So I will need to inactivate this person because he's not any longer working in this factory or in this site. So here it is. I'm going to inactivate that. Okay. Confirm. Successful. So from this moment, one of these employees is inactive. These are some of the admins. Let me see. I think we have a few more questions here on the screen. If user William, another question from him. If user is tracking item usage by cost center and we do an adjust quantity, how does it record that item to a cost center? So I see that these are all cost center related questions. There are two more about that. Okay, then we might need to address those if you would like to set up another webinar together on how to play with the cost centers on the ATR, because at the moment I haven't set up those in my CM client, so I need to make that preparation and to set up all those cost centers and assign few people to few cost centers. So if you would like, if you are interested, we can organize another session specifically on cost centers on ATR and CM client. So it will be, the focus will be on the cost centers. That was something that I might propose for those all who are interested. William, especially because I see that he has 3, and Philip as well. Yeah. If yes, can you input cost and sale values, and who will be able to see which value? Yes, this is a Philip asking that question. True, we can definitely on the item level, item properties. Let me go quickly here and see what do we have. Let us go to this item, edit items, search. So we have 4, 1, 2, one of these items. Yeah, so let's see some of these items on a laptop, for instance. We can, if we go to the next, we have this space here, Philip, where we can introduce the price, as you mentioned. So if this laptop is costing, let's say, 120 euros, this is where we can introduce the price, and this is the price that this item is vent on the point of on the ATR. So this price is what is the value once this transaction happens, the value of that transaction. Supplier, and then in the supplier we can have different costs over there, which we need to manage this on the CM client. What is the cost, the entry price, let's say, of this item and then we can pull reports. We can pull different reports about the costs and the item price. However, on the screen, people will see, users, operators will see the price that this item is lent to them. So this is what they will see, and this is how much will cost to them that transaction. We have another question from Matthew. Going back to the issue and return section, we have an issue where employees return a box of 10 tools to the AccuPort and are missing, say, one tool left on the bench. I would like to either tag all the items in the kit but display as one tool on ATR. Alternatively, bring up a screen they have to click to confirm all tools are indeed inside the kit. Possible, the FOD function. Yes, Matthew, we have few options here to choose and to decide which will be the best for in your case. Definitely. So remember, we saw this earlier today, the passive operations and the interactive operations. So in the passive operations, like you say, we have an AccuPort. In an AccuPort, the machine will scan whatever is going in or going out. At the end of it, it will be able to tell you this is the quantity of this, exactly those items are leaving the AccuPort or coming back in. So that is important to know. Either to tag all of them or just as a kit. It depends on the usage. It depends on the how would you like to set it up. It depends on I would say we can do that as well. We can tag as a kit if they're used as a kit, but we still have the risk here of having FOD if one of these items belonging to that kit is left outside. So FOD function, yes, FOD function is possible. There are different ways to make a sort of relationship between item, crib, and person, where we can assign them FOD labels, let's say, and that will set up another protocol on how these people will have what access to what machine and to what item. So FOD, it is an option if we talk about interactive screens, interactive machines, so prologs, etc. But if it's always an FOD on the AccuPort, that doesn't work like that. There we need to decide whether to tag as a kit or tag separately every single item. So we can discuss this separately if you want and provide you our best expertise. Can you input product values? Yes, for sure. As I said, Philippe, we can input product values either by importing them or adding manually one by one. No problems. Okay, I think it's okay. We can continue further at the moment. If you still have questions, please just write them all on the box on the question and answer panel, and then I will take them from there. So we saw pretty much the admin mode, what an administrator can do, what ATR allows us. As I said, it should be connected. As you see, in a connected mode, ATR gives me 100% of possibilities, capacity to do all those setup modes and receive modes and adjust modes and stop modes. If there was no internet connection at all, then I cannot do all of those, because these tabs literally will be disappearing from the screen and it won't allow me to, or administrator, to do all of this I'm doing right now. Let us go to the issue mode at the moment. We talked about keywords, right? Remember, we talked about keywords. So if I'll go in the grid view, here I can see a list of keywords that I have already prepared and put in a text. So we still have the search icon on the right, which we can use definitely, but the search icon has a logic on its own. A search action will initially look for an item ID, and then we'll look for description 1, and then we'll look for description 2, and if not, for manufacturer. So it has a limitation, if you want. But by the preparation of keywords, certainly all of this should be prepared in advance by the admins, introducing the CM client. Let me log in again. You can see now I have only 4 people because my 5th one is inactive at the moment. So, and the keywords, I can prepare all of these, and I can see if I don't know, for instance, PPE. I'm going to grid here. Excuse me. Here it is. All these 3 items belong to the PPE category. If I go to textile, I have only that item that belongs to the textile category. If I go to gray, I have only that item as well. If I go to COVID, so textile, I think is this one is the PPE is the largest one. So I can group and prepare all of this and allow people just coming on the screen and typing in a word or selecting one of these if they don't know which item they need, or the item number or the item description. Keywords might help. I can go to the toolbags. We talked about the toolbags. So I have prepared, and this as well is managed centrally by the administrator. You can prepare toolbags and assign those to specific people, that these are personal toolbags, as well as allow public toolbags. A public toolbag doesn't necessarily need to be logged in with a specific name. So this toolbag named sausage is specifically designed and assigned only to Jordan. So Jordan is the one we need to log into the system with his badge and be able to issue out that toolbag. So that's a toolbag ready-made. I can, what Jordan can do when he logs in, he can edit. Remember, he can edit his toolbag, he can add items, he can remove items. So we have given the authority, let's say, the capacity to Jordan to edit his toolbag. So if Jordan is gonna add this ergo tube, for instance, add item, or if Jordan needs some drills, let's say, here Jordan can do manage his own toolbag, and this is done. So now we have a longer toolbag with more items, as well as remove them out. So toolbags, as I said, is a habit that employees are issuing on different times of the day for different projects, and they can be public or personal or private toolbags assigned to specific people. With some little work from the admin side on the CM client, all this is possible, and certainly it will sort of enhance the quality of the interface, of user interface in front of ATR, because everything is ready for you, everything is just one quick issue, and all these items are, the machine will spin doors and lockers to allow you to issue these items as such. Let us go quickly to the issue mode. I'll go back again to the card view. And we talked about the shopping cart, ATR shopping cart, right? So I would like to make my shopping at the moment. I'm logged in with Jordan as well. So I would add to the chart. I need one hand tool, add to the chart. I need a laptop, add to the chart. I need the safety glasses, add to the chart. So, well, as you see, I'm doing my shopping. And this is my online shopping here. I need the Ricola, add to the chart, and a pair of gloves. All of this are my shopping. Once I'm done, I can go to the checkout and see what I have been collecting. And here is all the collection, one of them. What a user can do from this screen, a user can increase quantity if they want, let's say, and maybe, no, I'm not sure about this one. I don't really need it. So I'm gonna remove it from the cart. And here it is. Now I'm good to go. By clicking on the issue, the system will remind me of how many of each I need to issue out to when the doors will open. If it's a Pro Locker, there might be more than 2 inside, so the system will remind, please take 2 of this or 2 of that and 1 of each of those. It's just a reminder for the user, and that's done. So these are the 3 innovative features that are enabled with my version. You can see on the top, on the bottom left of my screen, the version that I'm using at the moment, which corresponds and it's fully aligned with the version of the database of CribMaster installation that I have in my server. So these 2 should be aligned in order to have no bugs or no other problems, issues in terms of communication. So pretty much these are the materials that I wanted to share with you today in terms of innovation, etc. Let's see if there are more questions. No, the last one was the cost center by William. Issue mode. Sorry, I wanted to go in the admin mode on the options as well. So just for you to have a quick look on that, on these options here. For instance, we talked about the tool bags. You see that this option is set by true. If I'm going to change that to false, the tool bag will be disappearing from the screen. Transaction history, it is allowed, so everybody can see their own transaction history. You see that on the screen right here. So this is pretty much the transaction history for me, as a person, for Jordan in this case, for the month to date or year to date, or all cribs, if there are too many cribs in the same site. So everybody can consult somehow their own history within CribMaster, whatever they've been issuing or returning. Let me go back to the admin options. Yeah. Then we have the cost centers first. We need to enable all of this. We have the formatting. So all of these are pretty much general. Let me just show you the big lines, the big heads of all this default options. I think there's another question. Is there a limit of clients I can have? 500 plus workstations? No, absolutely, there is no limit. As long as there is space in your server, in your database, 500 machines or more, no limits at all. We can all control them, we can all manage them. I mean, you can all do that. So no limit of clients you can have. More than 500 machines. It's absolutely doable, viable, no worries at all. The important thing is that these machines, as I said, they need the oxygen and the blood for this is alimentation and nutrition. I mean the power and internet. So internet is important. As long as these machines are connected to the internet, they can send information and they upgrade it. So no issues at all. 500 machines are easy. So what else we have here? These are all the internet options, as you can see, third-party authorization, etc. So these will change the way the machine behaves and the configurations of that. Items out, crib machines. Any other questions about options or about the issue mode, the tool bag, the grid view? Let me know. Is there any of you who hasn't worked or has never seen the ATR interface so far? That's the favorite button. So just for those who don't know that, the favorite button is it will keep in memory all those items that I'm frequently issuing out. So it will bring in front of me up to 10 items, I believe. These are the items that every single one, every single person, every single user keeps in memory and frequently issues them out. So it's another, but this is already existing in all the versions. In version 10, 9, 10, 11 already exists, in addition to the tool bag. I can see another question here. Do you have how to upgrade? I don't see any other questions, actually. Felix, okay. Drayton, there is a limit of machines. It must be something in about 32,000, 32,500-ish. Okay, yes, 32,500 machines. Also, some machines are not able to be managed if you reach high crib ID numbers because it will exceed the crib bin field limit. Well, yeah, about that, the 32,500 machines to be managed. That is about the space, I believe. What is the crib bin field limit? True, we have a space there of 15 alphanumeric characters. So we need to know that we have some rules, some conventions, as all of you know, in terms of crib bin numbers. So this cannot exceed 15 characters. For some machines, this is fixed, and we have to honor those protocols. For some other machines, it is allowed sort of free to the user to add up bin numbers based on a certain logic. However, this space is 15 alphanumeric characters, and this has to be, if we go longer than that, it won't be managed. True, Felix. Thank you for your note there. Favorites, William, another question. Recorded by user or globally by crib? No, favorite is by user. It's nothing to do by crib. Favorite is by user in that crib, sort of. If in this if a user has access to different cribs, where in these different cribs there are different items, let's say, every single crib will have the memory with the most used items for that crib specifically per user. So it is a relationship between crib and end user and employee. If the same user goes in another crib and there he has a habit to issue other items, that crib will display the favorite list for that crib specifically. So it won't be any confusion there. But this is nice to have that because we can even, if you want, for those of you who doesn't know that, let me show that quickly to the admin options. We can even make the favorite first, if you want. Favorite first should be here. Let me quickly scroll down and find that for you. Favorite first means that anytime the user will log in, the first screen, the view screen, will be only the list of his favorite. Yes, exactly. So you can see here the issue mode screen will display. If true, the issue mode will, let me show it again. well, the issue mode favorite screen will display first all the up to 10 items, the most favorite ones of that user. So this is the another option that you can enable or disable, as this is the case in your screen. If a user is tracking item usage by cost center, yes, okay, so that was William about the cost center. Definitely we can come back again in terms of a cost center machine, because as I said, it needs some preparation to be set up initially on the CribMaster CM client, assign few items, assign few people, and then we'll enable that to run on the ATR. So I cannot improvise that as quickly within this the time frame we have for today. But if those of you are interested, please let us know, send a note, and we can definitely tackle that that topic in a different webinar session, the cost centers, where we will take into consideration all your questions or others for all of you who are using cost centers on the ATR. Any other questions? Let me see. No, okay. At the moment, I'm not receiving any more questions. Any of you who had recently been working with ATR or had any problems, technical issues that do not fall in today's webinar agenda, let's say, but still we have some few minutes more, we have 15 minutes more, and we can discuss all of those, all your experience so far with the ATR, or all of you who are already using the three options: the tool bag, the tool bag, the ATR shopping cart, or the keywords at your end customers. What is the experience that you have seen so far? Has it improved the user experience of your customers? So if you would like to share those kind of those experiences with us, it will be interesting.
Adrian, have a quick check in the chat dialog box just to see if there's any questions been dropped in there. That's not
Yeah.
Q&A.
Yeah. No, nothing. I see no. You told me, but no, I don't see any. Is the favorites options only available with version 11? It's another question from William. No, the favorite option is not only available with 11. It is an existing option. I believe it comes from version 9. So it's been there for probably more than the last 7-8 years. So yes, it is there. No related to the 11. 11 brought only the tool bag, the ATR shopping cart, and the keyword filtering. William. Yeah. I'm checking again the chat box. I believe I have answered to all the questions I see here, but let me know, please, write again if I've skipped something. Or if you have would like to see something else on the ATR, we can always improvise and do that. There is again the item info tab. Maybe I didn't show that. So in the item info, it is another icon, another place where we can either display a bigger image, a better image, a higher resolution image of an item. But not only, we can also attach different formats we can even attach an Excel sheet if you want. We can attach a Word document, a PDF document, making sure that these programs are installed on the ATR, so the ATR can display all of this. And this item info will allow users to see a short manual about how to use that item, or a better picture, or any other additional information we would like to attach to any given item in our ATR. So that item info, it's absolutely advantageous for complex items that not all the users are familiar to, and they might need a quick reminder or a quick manual, let's say, how to use it. So making sure that the size of that document isn't that heavy, that big, following and respecting the restrictions and the parameters that we provide in CribMaster. So we can host those, we can assign those images or those documents assigned to an item and display that on ATR if needed. So that is another interesting option. Search down, so you all know those items. Transaction password change, if you would like to allow that. Find an item. So find an item, it always exists there. It is in the Crib 5, and then I can find whatever I'm looking for as an item. So filtered, it considers that I have done this, I've got this filtering, so it shows me that filter for that item. So I will clear search an item, and say, I remember Ricola, and here it is, and here it is, the item that it filters. So search an item is always there, has been always there. However, keyword filtering is an additional feature of that, and brings more, let's say, quickness, or it renders it far better for those employees who are not familiar to enter, to type in, or it might be difficult for that context, etc. Any other? Transaction history. So we saw adjust, we saw the receive, we saw options. Yeah. Another small detail. It's about the default employee. Always our ATR initially. I skipped that. So sorry, where is the default? Right there. Anytime you set up an ATR from the beginning, from the scratch, so it's a new ATR, the system will ask you to introduce a default employee, which means that make sure that there is always an accessibility, an option to access on the ATR and to play with the options and set up the data, etc. So default in our practice is that we always will go for E-00, which is the default employee. If you don't like that, you can add whatever you want there, but just make sure to have a default employee on the system, the one that will be running and setting up from the scratch. So if we have no employees at all in the database, still E-00 is the one who will acting and allowing us to configure that. And the URL here is the same as I have introduced on the data source. CribMaster test is my URL that directs me to my server. Okay, I don't see any other questions. I don't know if I hope that this webinar was clear to all of you. I think we can close that. We'll make sure to send to you the video, the recordings of the webinar, and if needed, even the PowerPoint presentation for all of you who are interested. Regarding the cost center questions, I saw there were 2 or 3 of them. Please, all of you who raised those questions, just let us know if you are interested, and definitely I will prepare another session very quickly, probably next week or something, and have you all have you all in that webinar, and we talk about the cost centers and how they are enabled, imposed, enforced on the ATR, and what we can do with them, what they will allow us. That is another level of the ATR users. Let's say that I wanted to keep it basic, this one, the fundamentals of ATR for today's session. So we are glad to help for all of those who are interested to have that that session. Yeah, I don't see any other questions. Okay, then I believe we can close here. Thank you all of you for participating in our today's webinar. I hope you enjoyed and you learned something. Or for all of you who already knew all this data, all this information was a refreshment. I wish all you stay healthy, and looking forward to host and have you in another CribMaster webinar. All of you have a good day.